Hey, yo, Reg, you remember the record?
What record you talking about, man?
I'm talking about Passing Me By the Pharcyde.
Of course, man. That's like the best record in the fucking world, man.
Yo,
like,
yo. Let's fucking go. Like, hey, yo, what's up, Corners? My name is Johnny Warbucks, and I'm here with Felicia McCoff Reg. And welcome to our 9th installment of Remember the Record. Today we are talking about the hit classic Passing Me By.
Now there she goes again, the dopest Ethiopia.
By the Pharcyde, which was released as a single back on March 18th, 1993. But before we start talking about that, let me quickly ask you, Red, what have you been listening to recently?
Well, a couple things actually just popped out, and like it's some good stuff. New Nas,
man. Black Magic.
Yeah, and new Chino XL, son.
Chino God's XL. Carpenter.
You know it, man.
Bruh.
Forget about it, man.
Fucking album, man. We were actually, I was doing the same, kind of prepping for some shit that we did yesterday. As the time of this recording, it's the end of July. We went and saw Chino XL.
Yes, we did.
We saw Chino XL live in DC.
Look, we're not going to get into it too much, but let's just say that it was the best time of our lives. We met a good rack of people that were down, and we're going to have some stuff because with these shows because of those meetings that we had. So
shout out to the hip hop shop, hip hop museum. This is the DC official shop and venue spot.
It's a hip hop store, I think.
Yeah, it's a hip hop store for.
It's like the retail store.
Adams Morgan?
Yeah, it's the retail store. It's got like all like the stuff that you have at the museum in the Bronx.
Yo.
But over here at like DC area, and man, the stuff, all the jackets. Remember the jackets?
Jackets, man. The
shirts,
vinyls.
The vinyls. God.
The
man.
comics.
The comics.
The comics.
Bruh,
Chino. Make a comic, bro.
Yeah, and signed it. So
we got photos. I'll put it all on the TikTok.
All right, but let's get back to the Pharcyde here, man. We're getting too excited here.
We'll talk about it on another show.
Yes, we will.
Why don't we go right into the facts then, huh?
All right.
Let's go. All right. So facts. This is Passing Me By the Pharcyde. Consists of Amani, Slim Kid Trey. Booty Brown.
The names, Booty Brown.
Booty Brown, dog. Fat Lip. OG DJ was Mark Love, followed by the OG producer Jay Swift, who eventually is followed by none other R.I.P. Jay Dilla, right? Slim and Amani were originally in a group called As Is, and then later a group called Play Brothers until Fat Lip and his backup dancer Booty Brown came together to form the Pharcyde.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Isn't that crazy?
That's interesting.
Yeah, like they were all doing it. Oh yeah, and before the group actually settled on the name the Pharcyde, they were almost called the Rappers, and they called themselves True Jigaboo.
Really?
Which is second, which served as the inspiration. Their interlude. It's Jigaboo time. That was them. Like they were repping themselves. Recorded in 1991, released March 18th, 1993 as a single with the B-side Pork. First album appearance is the sensationally classic Bizarre Ride to the Pharcyde on November 24th, 1992.
Man.
Yo, and we'll talk about it. The album's recorded at the Hollywood Studios, California. Released on Delicious Vinyl, which was founded by Matt Dyke, Michael Ross, back in 1987 in LA, California. Producer was Jay Swift with additional production and remix by LAJ, which we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Written by everybody in the Pharcyde. There was no additional writing credits there. It was the Pharcyde that did it. Song's 5 minutes and 3 seconds. Let's go through some sick ass samples here. So the song is jazz, funk, soul, infusion, right? We got Quincy Jones' 1973 American jazz record, "Summer in the City."
That's probably the closest one you're gonna get to like the actual.
That's the main sample.
Yeah, that's the main
the beat that we know and love came from this first, and it's a great record to listen to. Skull Snaps had this enigmatic funk record, 1973. It's a New Day, and that's the drum beat that you hear throughout the record. Right at the beginning of this record, you hear that drum beat. Jimi Hendrix, 1967 psychedelic rock hit "Are You Experienced?"
So the listener, you can hear it, and it's like a backwards.
Yeah, that reverse right at the beginning of the record, of both records.
It's like the beat.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like reverse.
That's a great intro to the song. Weather Report's 1973 jazz fusion record, 125th Street Congress. So it's that little bass line that you hear, that the doopa doopa doopa.
Yeah, where it's separated, right?
But they slow it down a little bit. Houdini, Friends, right? 1984. Famous electro hip hop classic, but that part where they screw it, but where he's like, nevertheless, I'll say it again.
Okay, yeah.
Houdini, Friends.
Yeah.
Yo. So then we get into Eddie Russ's 1984 electro. Wait a minute. Jazz record Eddie Russ's jazz record, 1974. Hill Where the Lord Hides. This is a clean jazz record. Sexy saxophone.
Yeah. You know, that saxophone always reminds me of,
in the hook.
It reminds me of another whatchamacallit,
another jazz cat.
Yeah, another sample that you have there.
Am I getting ready to talk about that? Well, hold on. Let's get to the invitations first. So the Invitations 1965 soul hit, Written on the Wall. There's this horn that you hear during Fat Lip's verse. That bum, right?
Yeah.
Like you hear it during Fat Lip's joint. That came from this. Manzel's 1979 R&B soul hit Midnight Theme is this additional drum kick that you hear at the ending of the record, and you're thinking about Mr. Tom Scott. LA Express,
which is really interesting because Tom Scott has not only been used by Jay Swift, right?
Yeah.
It was also used, and not the same song,
not the same record,
but artist-wise on another song, which is Reminisce Over You.
Right.
So Tom Scott is getting down with some hip hop sampling,
particularly in the late early 90s.
Yeah, like, you know, I as a producer, I've listened to a lot of Tom Scott myself, and I'm like, yo, he's got a lot of good sample libraries, I guess you can call it. But yeah,
this one was a little more mellow, a little more snuck in. It's this record called "Sneaking in the Back," jazz fusion record, 1974. Okay. It's this lo-fi percussion.
It's a lot of jazz, man.
It's almost all of it is either jazz or soul or funk. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like this is a jazz record.
Yeah.
This is a jazz hip hop record.
Subconsciously, that's why I think it's.
Yeah, because you fuck with jazz, like.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? As far as certifications, the album itself went gold. The record was a minor hit. It was a minor hit, but I mean, it was a gold album, and it's an iconic classic. Number 52 Billboard Hot 100 for the song. Number 6 Billboard's Dance Single Sales. Number 28 Billboard Hot R&B Hip Hop Songs, and number 1 Billboard Hot Rap Songs. Pitchfork listed it as number 41 in their top 200 songs of the 90s.
Get out of here.
Yo, I know. It shouldn't even be higher.
Yeah, man.
Side note real quick, and then we can get into it. So song was featured on the NBA 2K9 video game soundtrack, PS2, Xbox, GameCube game, Aggressive Inline Sports game, 2002. It's been heard in shows such as
Those games.
Yeah, well, I know, man. Like, because once you were able to actually throw music into soundtracks, they were pulling heads out. And it's sporting event records. That's the thing I think it's funny. It's basketball. You know, we got passing me by. Like, I don't know. I dig it. It's been heard in shows such as Atypical, Atlanta, Friends from College, Last Chance U, Basketball, Keenan in the movie Mid-90s.
Wait, in Atypical?
Yeah, Atypical. Huh. You hear this record sample. Yeah, you hear it in the back.
Maybe that's like John Rapp or Michael Rapp.
That's definitely. Oh, of course.
Yeah,
it has to be. Of course. Yeah. Listen, man, the song album has been featured on many top 150, 25, top 5 lists, and is considered to be one of the greatest schoolboy crush and heartbreak records of all time.
Yep.
So let's talk about it. I'll let you pop this up.
So this is where it's really interesting because, like, if you listen to the Pharcyde, okay, put yourself in the shoes of like a 1990s, like 12, 11, 13-year-old. This one came out, what year, 92?
91.
91, so I was 9 when this song came out. And, you know, growing up, I'm like, I grew up listening to East Coast rap, you know, and then all of a sudden I start hearing like some G-Funk, like some Snoop and some Dre and even some NWA to begin with. But like, all those had like that West Coast sound. And then like I heard Pharcyde and I was like, yo, where are they from? And I thought honestly they were from Philadelphia. And I thought Illadelph was their first album. So I'm like going to Tower Records and shout out to Tower. I'm looking for the song, like, because they used to have like headphones to sample the songs. I'm like, where the fuck is this song? Right? So then, like, years go by, I totally forgot about that song, and I'm working at a kitchen at this restaurant at Kilroy's. And there's this white guy who's like older than me, and he's like a hip hop head. So we start talking about hip hop. He's like, yo, I got this song, and we have like a little radio in the kitchen. Press play. I was like, this is the song that I've been looking for forever. Who is this? And he's like, it's Pharcyde. I was like, Pharcyde. And then, through Pharcyde and Too Short, but I start getting more into like not just the G-Funk LA.
Yeah.
More Oakland, more like up higher, Bay Area. And then you're like, all right, like they got a completely different sound than that. It's completely different. So, like I said, my intro to them was I saw the video, I loved it. Even the video was East Coast.
Yo, video was mad.
And I was just like, okay, they got to be East Coast. And then, like I said, one guy was like, yo, they're Pharcyde. Boom. From that point forward, I bought the album, I bought the DVD, I bought all their videos, I bought all their shit. Like, I was really into Pharcyde. And I just kept following their thing. And, unfortunately, stuff happens with the groups. But it is what it is. But yeah, now it's like two different Pharcydes. You got one that's half the group, the other one's the other half, and different spellings, and it's just like it sucks because the
Pharcyde, and then the word FAR side, Pharcyde.
So it's a shame, but I'm glad they're doing it in their own thing, their own way. You know what I mean? They're still doing their thing. And Fat Lip to me is one of the best MCs ever. Like, a lot of people don't fucks with him, but I do. I think there she goes again, the dopest Ethiopian. I think that is the best verse on that album, or that song. And I also got his solo album, and he's got some really good stuff there too. So
have to peep out Fat Lip solo project, straight up and down. I was and I know I kind of always say this in all of these episodes, but like I was a late bloomer into hip hop, and so there's one or two ways I was introduced to this man, and I was either introduced by you,
probably,
which makes the most sense. I mean, I would debate that title. The only other way I would have been introduced to this record, privy to you, would have probably been like a BET, MTV, VH1, like top hip hop records of all time.
One of those two,
You know what I mean? And just for me, the second I hear this beat, and then it goes into that amazing, man. I mean, it grabs you instantly, and then when you get this dude at the top of it, who's just like got a voice I ain't never heard before.
Yeah, like, as a rapper.
Like, I mean, it is a dude.
You never hear that voice.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, Imani just was, what did he say?
Verse 1's Booty Brown.
Oh, Booty Brown, you're
but
right.
But Imani has that same, because later on you hear it, and I think to the naked ear, some people might think it's the same guy.
Yeah, you're right. No, Booty Brown, but it's,
but that,
when I was a young
in my younger days, I used to sport a shag.
When I went to school, I carried lunch in a bag.
Man. Yo, and it brings you to like, I mean, all of the imagery throughout the whole record. We've all been through
graffiti on the bus. Like,
he's talking about like carving out a bus on like a tree or whatever on a wall. He's like, my name last, like whatever, like, me would be like JW plus.
And then what do you say? He's like, drives a red, I forget, but the video, that verse is also good, but again, I stick with Fat Lip. Fat Lip is my guy, man.
We're going to be later on playing some games, and I think we're getting privy to a couple of things. I'm not surprised. I knew that in our conversation organically. It always does happen that way. But as far as like, I mean, if we're going to quickly jump on like the highlighted lyrics, I'm definitely giving it for Booty. That opening bar is so dope. I also love, the way this was done. This is my man. Oh Lord, man, you think I'd be on top of this today? You know what I'm saying? It's Slim. It's Slim Kid Trey, right? Slim Kid Trey. He does the second verse, right? And he's like, I haven't gone as far as I could get with her. I just play by ear and hope she gets the picture. I'm shooting for her heart. Got my finger on the trigger. She could be my bra. I could be her nigga. And even in the video, he's like, it's something about like fake out lyrics in all of rap. Like there's a couple of cats who really do it nice.
Yeah.
Like Dre and Black Sheep. He's like, he sounds like he's gonna say like
Drez.
What did I say?
Dre.
No disrespect, Drez. No disrespect, Drez. Man, my bad. Gosh, it's a live show, y'all. It's a live show. I know what I was saying. I knew what I said in my head.
Listen, I'm pretty good right now.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Hey, did nice right now. But like, he did something where like he makes it sound like he's gonna say like "what up," and he's like, "I'd like to say good day." You know, he like flips it. Right. Stuff like that. I like records that do this sort of thing. And Inspector Deck did that on Cream too, like trying to get a hold of what I could not. Like everybody knows he's gonna say touch, but he just leaves it out.
There's another song that I literally listened to not too long ago that I got, but I can't remember the name of it. But it's got like every bar is basically they like have it like, and I was walking in the street driving up, and I got with my gas and I got real. And,
because it's stuff that you know when you're able to pick up on it.
Right.
I bet as on a crowd performance, that's where it's at. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's a really good crowd, like engaging.
You know, parts. And it's also since it's blanked out, like heads that like maybe don't want to speak certain ways and say certain things, like they can still participate and keeping it true to the game. Yeah. And I really love that bar, the way he presents it, and then he goes into like that harmonic. All I have to do is stand.
I like all of theirs.
And Fat Lip's verse, like up and down, I had to pick a piece of it. And I know everybody knows what's coming. So it's like, from a distance I desired her, secretly admired her, write her a letter. Together. And it went, my dear, you do not know me, but I know you very well. Now let me tell you about the feelings I feel for you when I try or make some sort of attempt. Damn, I wish I wasn't such a wimp. Because then, you so, man, the flow on this dude is so nasty.
And the thing is, like, we've all been there. We've all been there. Those words are
Letter came back, return to sender. Like, you don't even get the call back.
We've all been there, and
I'm good.
It's relatable.
Like, every single part of it, man. You know, or they always with some other dude. He was a nincompoop.
Yeah, man.
You know?
Yeah, no.
So that little birdie gonna fly the coop. We know what it is.
So the video I also thought was very interesting because it's black and white.
It was, and again, it almost feels like from this era, this was hot.
Yeah,
we talked about this on our previous episode with Queen Latifah on Just Another Day. There's a lot of black and white hip hop records, but it's a vibe. We can talk about the video since we're on it. It was directed by Sanjay Sanaka, who made mostly like videos for like R&B artists like Lauryn Hill.
I mean, that makes sense.
Mary J. Blige,
for that
Maxwell,
song,
Tony Tone, Seal, Johnny Gill, Shanti.
All legends.
All legends. Hip hop acts like Common, The Roots, Dilated Peoples, to acts like Tori Amos and Alanis Morissette. Like he's done some shit.
Variety.
But it's shot in black and white, like my man said. It shows them kind of walking the streets, schools, playgrounds, basketball courts of LA.
And hanging upside down.
Yo, that's the show. So they're riding around somber in the backseat of a car, and at the ending of the video, they're driving. If the driving is revealed to be like just the car door, right? He's like, they ain't got no whip. But the most memorable aspect of the video was that each rapper is depicted as being upside down in comparison to the rest of the world, and that's the Pharcyde. I love the whole concept. The symbology behind
you're in love. You're upside down.
Yeah.
Everybody else is doing their thing.
You see it this way, and they never will see it that way.
Nope. No, that's such a real song.
Such love, man. Such a
real song. But
yo. I'm telling you, man, it's just one of those pieces where it's relatable to anybody who takes the time to keep it. And it also, like, I think, makes a commitment to other aspects about hip-hop where people who don't really listen to the genre have a belief that rap music is, all this one stereotype. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this is schoolboy crush music. Like we've all experienced what they're talking about. Anybody who listens to it can relate.
Yeah, you don't have to like rap to like the song.
You know what I mean?
It is what it is.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're gonna relate to it regardless. And it's more to speak on that. Going back to the whole like Bay Area versus LA, because you have California, you think, okay, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Ice Cube, NWA. But you have a whole plethora of like other rappers that don't. I mean, you know, they respect each other, but they're not like that at all. You know what I mean? Like,
and it's not to say that they weren't going up in some rough areas or dealing with some real shit.
Right. I mean, what was Jurassic 5 was another one that was like
Jurassic 5. Yeah. I wanna say Too Short, obviously.
Too Short, obviously.
E40 was going through it.
E40,
Rapping Forte, that's a good one.
The Coup.
Yeah. Shout out to the Coup.
The Coup is a lot like, in my perspective, not like the Pharcyde, but kind of like on that same unique level of like that's the Coup and this is Pharcyde, you know what I mean? And of course,
all super groups like Hieroglyphics,
right?
Living Legends,
right. And if you know Oakland's history, you know that's where like the Black Panthers started. So you have this like progressive community, like
social,
thought,
conscious awareness.
But that's not.
You're living and breathing.
That's not to say that there ain't no pimp music out there.
Oh my God, that's a big scene.
That's a big scene.
Shout out to Too Short and all of them. All of them on that pimp shit.
I mean, you got even Loonies. You got great. You guys got to check out the Bay Area hip hop.
Oh man, Mac Dre. If we're gonna talk about Bay Area, you got to say something about that piece of Mac Dre. Freestyle Fellowship.
Isn't Andre Nicotino?
Yeah,
I want to say he is there too.
Yeah,
but either way, just check it out, man, because they got a whole rack of rappers that like. You're like, yo, this is California, and Pharcyde falls into it. That's why I was like, this is California.
I think we had a conversation offline where I was saying, like, when I first heard Pharcyde, it's almost like, because they're just having fun, and it's chill, and it's like about love relationships, and Other Fish is another one like that too. Like, it's almost like they were the West Coast De La Soul or something, right?
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Black Sheep, De La Soul.
Yeah, that whole camp. Like I don't think they were an extension too, but they were definitely a part of that sort of native tongue movement.
Tribe. Yeah. And the thing about the Pharcyde, I mean, if you listen to the album, right? Like the album, like my man said, it's not a heavy album. Like you have, I think this song, the Passing Me By and Other Fish, I think are the heaviest songs on that album.
Yeah, everything else they talking about Your Mama.
Yeah, and Your Mama is a great song because it's like, if you say it's an insult going back and forth. Your mama this, your mama that, but it's such a creative song, and you're like, I don't care how corny it is.
It is. A lot of people are gonna think it's cheesy,
but it's such a creative. Your mama. Like she wears
got pour whiskey in the boot.
Yeah, like the insults are really creative.
She got an afro with a toothpick or something like that.
It's like can't even see like your feet because you got skates. It's really interesting how you hear that album. And you're like, how's this California? But that's why I say listen to the album. It's a great album.
I mean, it's chill
from one to the last song. It's great. And I guess there are some remixes.
We'll tap on that when we get to the games. I don't want to necessarily rush the show too quickly over to that. End up being a 40-minute show.
Which you're
cool with. I will say that as far as Passing By go, it's even though it's West Coast though, it is in the exact same embodiment. I mean, I'll give 93 to Infinity. Social Mission. That's in that camp too, and that's West Coast. But outside of that, I'm listening to this and I hear Massive. I hear Massive. I hear They Reminisce Over You.
Yep.
I hear Electric Relaxation.
Yep.
If I have a playlist where that is right there in the middle of that.
Yeah, and it makes sense. It makes sense because those beats, I think
it's my favorite era too. Those beats were unlike any other.
I honestly I remember, and I know I probably said this in one of the podcasts earlier, but I had a cousin. Her name is Maria, and she was way older than me, and I would go over to her place on the 4th of July and shit like that. And my cousin, she was really into jazz. She loved jazz. Jazz was and I was into hip hop. I still am, and she was like, ugh, hip hop, and I was like, and I understand her perspective because her perspective is jazz is elevated. And hip hop is gutter street in her eyes, but when I told her, I was like, yeah, but there's a lot of jazz and hip hop. Like, she was like, yeah, no, not really, blah blah blah.
That's completely untrue. There's a lot of jazz.
Right. Then I was a kid back then, so I was just like, nah. And the years that passed by, the more I listened to him, like, yeah, my words are vindicated because, man. And as a producer today, my inspiration is Jay Dilla, is Jay Swift, is like Muggs, is RZA, and is like Premier. And so you have jazz is everywhere in that.
Jazz is everywhere, all of those.
In all that. Like, yeah. And I didn't know how much. I knew jazz was in hip hop, but I didn't know how much it literally was in hip hop. From just a little snare to with a like
almost
all out.
Anytime you hear a horn, sax,
in that even the cymbal, like whatever,
definitely the hi hats and the cymbals and almost a lot of the drum beats, if they're not coming from soul, they're coming from jazz. You know what I mean? But anytime you hear like that kind of horn, like that low horn, or you hear that high sax, like that's almost always sampled from some jazz record, right? And heads like us, where he's doing the production, and I just like digging because, I want to learn where they, because these are, they digging through crates and just picking stuff out, sure. Right. But a lot of this stuff is from them growing up in their households, listening to their parents, listening to their music, and they take that and they find pieces that they love from those records and they chop them up, right? And so I like digging, and so this particular song, I always only heard that Quincy Jones,
right.
And when I got to go and dig into this, and once again, a banging Spotify playlist is up there. Johnny Warbucks.
Check them out.
Episode 9. What I did this time, same as always, we start with the song we're talking about. I go through all of their hits, all of their singles, and then I do the rest of the record that this record came off of. And then we go into, for this one, I go into all the remixes, which we'll talk about here in just a moment. And from the remixes, I do every song that was sampled, followed by the instrumental.
Yeah, do yourself a favor.
That particular part is great for driving, man. Mm-hmm. Like just chilling in the whip. This is not stuff we got a head nod. It's you chilling. You want to maybe you like got to write something or whatever. You're just trying to lay back, or you're just trying to get stuff done in the house. That part of that whole playlist is sick with that.
Yeah, and see, that's I think why I appreciate this album so much is because.
There's so much
jazz influence, and not only so much jazz influence, but overall, man, it's a fun album to listen to.
It's fun.
It's fun. It's not like gangster. It's not. You're not gonna get mad.
It's not grimy.
It's not. Yeah, it's not New York gutter.
It's fun, but not grimy, and like it's not. It is, but it isn't like that kind of ODB thing. You know what I mean?
And you got some tight sketches.
Mariah, go back like baby to pacify it.
It's like that, but it's even more like. And the sketches too. I love the sketches. Like
it's unlike any other album I've heard.
Yeah,
like it goes like sketch to sketch. You can tell they were just in there fucking around half
like
the time.
Real high and just having fun, man.
I don't think I wrote down the list here with the skits in them, but there's a bunch where they're just like walking around.
Prior to one of the favorite songs here, Quentin's On His Way.
Yo, I mean, and they play this one at the shows and shit. I love that record. It's on their greatest hits album.
And if you listen to they're like, yeah, we're gonna get some green.
Yeah, we're getting Quentin's on the way. Quentin's on the way.
And then they go hard. They play the piano with like
you can see them all. Yeah, just in a fucking room, just jamming like.
And that's what I'm talking about.
So they were awesome. So I mean, with that being said, they weren't necessarily like soft. Like they had edge because at the time, like Bud, Buddha, all that shit was like still kind of taboo on the radio, you know. So it wasn't like these were clean cut brothers.
No,
like they really encompassed their environment, and yeah, they get hyped for like anybody else for their weed man.
Yeah, and like
I love that record.
The other reason that I also like the Pharcyde is because you have a variety of like rappers with a variety of skills. So like one guy is more melodic, and then you have another guy who's more like
straightforward rapping.
Yeah. Then you have another guy who's a little bit in between. You have another guy who's just goofy and does his thing and like just goes forward.
I don't know, and I'm drawn to that shit.
And there's
man.
There's no.
I love the nasal shit. They got a lot of two of them are definitely more nasal.
Yeah, and there's no like inhibition. There's no reluctance to be who you want to be on this album, and that's why it's such a good album, because you hear them go like, yeah, ooh, yeah, like all that stuff, and you're like, oh, these are some rappers, you know, but they ain't got no shame in the game.
Is it for better or worse where Fat Lip like just starts talking in this like almost demonic stalker voice?
Yeah. He's like,
I'm gonna get you, and I'm gonna do the thing. And you're like, what is that?
But it gives you that good. You know, I'm happy I listened to these.
You know what I mean?
And this is one of those albums you can listen to the whole from.
I do think, and because unless you're just looking for records, and unless you're looking for just jazz, singles, you know what I mean? Like this is definitely one where when you listen to it, it needs to be listened to from top to bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you just jump into it with your singles, that's all you're gonna get, and you're only getting a piece of what these cats are.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta let for this particular album.
You gotta do it justice.
Second one, I think you have a little more weight.
Yeah, because you already know, but you gotta give them justice.
But this Bizarre Ride joint,
and it's such a tight name, Bizarre Ride
to the Far Side. And the art,
the art,
it's like fucking graffiti, cartoon comic,
and going into the future a little bit. Like I remember me being the hip hop head that I am. I'm like, I fucks with this, I fucks with that, And I remember I had a group of friends. I remember he had a fucking red Civic. And his name was Chris Zaleski.
Yo, shout out to government name dropping.
Yeah, Chris Zaleski over here. so I remember
Google that guy.
We were in his car and he had like a system. We're gonna go over to like my other boy's house, right? I'm not gonna say his last name, it's just Nick. We're gonna go over to my boy's house, and all of a sudden I hear doot 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 doot, and it's the sample from the Far Side. And I'm like, hold up, this is not the Far Side. And I was like, this is, and what it was mystical.
Oh man!
You remember that?
Joe singing on the hook?
Yeah.
So I was working at a restaurant in ALX, and
shout out to where we're at.
Yo, name dropping. You're gonna get our address. People are gonna come and steal all of our podcast money. Yo, but I'm just saying, dude. I was up there, and it came through the radio. And I was in the middle of like taking someone's order, and I was like, excuse me. Like, I had to stop, and I'm like, and then I hear Mishwell, and I thought you were Mishwell. I don't know if it's like, it's more like that. No, but, I'm telling you, like, but I was excited to hear it. And I was like, that's dope. And then I was also like, man, it ain't no fucking
you see, I was to my boys, I was like, nah. Because they were digging the song, and they were digging it because of the sample.
Yeah, they like the beat.
But I was like, nah, man, you guys gotta listen to Pharcyde. And, of course, back then we didn't have iPhones, and we can just pull it up. We're like,
what is the thing?
Let me look at my CDs real quick. You know what I mean? Like,
I need a reference. The Source magazine.
Yeah, man.
Find out what the new.
I got my CD binder that's like the Bible. I'm like,
legit my scriptures. That's exactly what they are, though.
And then when the scriptures would get stolen,
man, I had it happen to me once. I had two instances. I had a house party where people raided it and like stole a bunch of my 3-6 Mafia shit. I know who exactly he is.
To the club up.
Man, but then also I had a situation, and I asked somebody to hold a book for me, and it was like all of my personally made like CD blends and my own shit, my own music.
Ouch! Oh, your own. Oh,
my shit. And it was taken away from me.
Damn, son. That hurts. That hurts me.
That's like putting your dog down.
Yeah, that
waking up and finding out your sibling is dead.
Yeah, those are scriptures.
I was that upset about it. I'm still bothered by it. It's something I'm still resenting and holding on to.
Look at this guy. He's got to go to therapy.
She keeps on passing me by.
That's what I'm saying, man. No, and that's the thing. It's like that she keeps on passing. Like that.
You can feel. That's Fat Lip that does that. You can feel it.
Mm-hmm. You man. That's what I'm saying. This is one of my all-time favorite songs.
Yeah, easy.
On all spectrums, man.
I mean, it's top 10 hip hop song of all time.
Top 40. Get out of here.
I said top 10.
No, I know, but the other group. Remember
Pitchfork say 41, not even
41,
top
40.
41. Didn't even make top 40.
That's why I don't listen to that.
See, man, fuck Pitchfork, what you doing, man?
You got to go to the Bronx. You got to go to the streets. You got to go to Watts. You got to go to and then talk about your number top 40.
Yo, man, no Pharcyde at the top. You bugging. You fucking bugging, dog. All right, let's go into the games, man. We got a couple of them that are going to take a little bit more time. So I'd like to hit us up with the games. We're going to start off with singles only. Singles only. Aside from the hit single Passing Me By, what other chart-topping single is your favorite by the Pharcyde and why? We got, from their singles, we got Yamano, for better or for worse, Other Fish, Runnin', Drop, She Said, Trust, Frontline, Knew You, My Bad.
Okay, so this is a really interesting list here because earlier I was trying to find a certain song and there was a remix of that song, which we'll go into the remixes later, but there was a remix of that song and it was in the DVD, the video, which is She Said. Now, She Said on that remix is one of my all-time favorites. So after Passing Me By, She Said the remix. But since this isn't the remix, and that from the list he gave me, I have to say, now this is hard, man, because Other Fish is so real.
It's a real.
It touches you in the heart. Running is amazing. Drop is amazing, and Your Mama is amazing too.
I love all of those records.
So like, it's really hard for me, but I will say that like, if I have to literally do this, I'm gonna fucking hate you for this, but if I have to do this, I'm gonna base it off of not solely the lyrics, but the beat. And if I'm gonna go with that, then I have to. I'm gonna put it down to two. I can't do one. It's gonna be Other Fish and Running.
Okay, if you had to pick one or the other, though.
Fuck, man. I go with Other Fish.
Yo, I love Other Fish, though. And I'm really, really, really shocked to hear it, though. I mean, I know why. Because I know you. And I know, and trust you me, I mean, if I can meet these cats tomorrow, you know, I said the same thing last night to Chino about Creep. Help me get through some bullshit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, in this record, Other Fish in particular. I mean, Passing By is the same kind of vibe, but it feels more lighthearted the way they present it. Other Fish is definitely more like you are drowning in your sorrows,
and your friends are like, "Nah,
man, come on, it's not big writer. So there's Other Fish in the sea,
man."
So it sounds chipper and upbeat.
I'm gonna hold on to this, man.
My dome, my cranium.
Yeah, I'm gonna hang out here. So it's like symbology. It's like they're going to go look for other fish. They're gonna go fishing. You're still trying to get that fish that ain't trying to get with you.
Yeah.
And your friends are saying, "Let's go get some other fish," and he's like, "Nah, I think I'm just gonna stick around." It's such a real thing, and you've been there. You know what I'm talking about.
Of course.
Yeah. I mean,
with that being said, though, I am shocked that the answer by everybody listening to this isn't Running. Because I'm telling you right now, if we couldn't do Passing Me By, or we already did it, I guarantee we will do an episode on Running. Because Running
is fucking great.
The beat that Jay Dilla did on that is fucking delicious.
Can't keep running away.
The hook is so good.
Yeah, and it's about life too, man. It's not,
and the message is dope. Yeah. I mean, every single one of the verses has a piece of that. Where Fat Lip's talking about my father didn't teach me how to fight, but now I'm fucking around with me. You're gonna get blown. And then and is that Slim Kid on the second verse? There comes a time in every man's life when he's gotta handle shit upon his own. And you hear this line plays in my head when I'm out there trying to do what I gotta do to navigate through life. No,
that's why
there comes a time.
That's why I say
always.
Running is such a real.
And the video with the reverse, perspective. Yep. I think heads that still to this day are stuck on some raw, weird shit when it comes to this racial shit. Watch that video and just think about it. Imagine
because you got it's reversed.
Yeah,
you got blacks.
They're on the plantation,
and you got whites
and the whites are the slaves, right?
Yeah.
And the way they do that, and it's tasteful. Like it's. I mean, we don't go to the roots on the motherfucker, but it's enough to put you in the shoes enough to say, you know, maybe I have to like kind of keep my shit out of this. It's really thought provoking, and so the video really grabbed me. The song hits me like with the lyrics,
the beats and the lyrics.
Singles only. It's just no question for me. Though I love Drop.
Drop.
That's the Beastie Boys. Shout out to Beastie Boys. Yeah.
And that beat is tight, and they walk backwards and shit.
Yeah, they're all tight. So it almost to me is like a part 2 to Passing Me By.
It's got
where everybody's upside down instead of walking backwards and shit. Shit is hot, dude. I love running,
and you know,
but I love Drop.
Just to go back to the walking backwards, Cypress Hill. And How Could I Just Kill Man? Also,
I remember that.
So there was
that's just like an outlet.
No, it was like a thing during that time. Because that time they were recording in New York.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah. So I guess it was that time frame that it was like back and walking backwards.
It just seemed like a nice artistic direction for videos, but because there is something in the concept.
Yeah.
It's almost rock and roll.
Yeah. And then also I want to say in in Drop, where they do like the graffiti on like the cam, so you see
that was a big thing too. Like that was like a cliche.
So you see like the glass camera, like how you would see like the vision, but you see me spray painting on it, so the camera gets spray painted. Like it's tight.
Yeah, it's hot, dude. I love it. So for me though, it's running. Other Fish was right there though. Drop. It's funny, man, because as much as I love Bizarre Ride, I think my more favorite records are from Lab. But I think Bizarre Ride as a whole,
both those albums.
Maybe we can get into that in a moment.
Hold
on for a second. Let's do the deep cuts real quick. Deep cuts, y'all. Aside from the songs that garner chart positions and/or music videos, what is your favorite record off of Bizarre Ride to the Pharcyde?
Okay,
where Passing Me By was featured. We got Oh Shit. I'm That Type of. It's got Buckwheat from the Wascals on that. We got Soulflower Remix on the DL, which also features Buckwheat from the Wascals. We got Officer, Pack the Pipe, Return of the B-Boy, Pork, Panty Raid, and Live at Dodger Stadium. I'm definitely pulling from the deluxe so that we have the whole fleshed out album. Pork was originally, like I said, a B-side on the single, but it didn't appear on the actual album. Panty Raid is a great record. And the Live at Dodger Stadium is cool. It's a live performance. What do you think?
So for me, again, the sketches I talked about earlier goes from sketches to songs.
So I didn't put Quentin on here, but you're more than welcome to say that if that's the case.
Well, Quentin's on the Way becomes Packing the Pipe.
Yeah, that's true. Pack the Pipe.
So Packing the Pipe is one of my favorite songs. All of those are great songs too, but Packing the Pipe just because it's like not Blaze, but like there's also like the way that they come about where they're like, I think it's Fat Lip where he's like talking to his girlfriend's kid. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like, come here, kid. You want to smoke?
Yeah.
So I like the beats tight, and again, all that jazz influence is all there. And I also remember hearing that song not on that album for the first time, but on an album that had like Afro Man, Cypress Hill, like it was a weed album.
Yeah, some sort of
like compilation. That's the first time I heard that. I was like, oh shit, yeah. So yeah, I go with Packing the Pipe.
It's kind of tough because I honestly feel like Pork and Panty Raid were newer songs for me because I didn't hear those until not too long ago because I didn't have the deluxe versions, right? And I had the greatest hits, and I don't think either of those showed up on the greatest hits either. I might be wrong about that. Don't quote me just yet.
Don't quote me because I ain't said shit. Don't quote me, son, because I ain't said shit.
Is that easy?
Yeah.
R.I.P. But every single one of these records is fun, man. I love Oh Shit. I'm That Type is so good. I love the flow on Soulflower.
Soulflower is really good.
You know? But I'm going to be real here. There's just something about the way they came at it when they did Return of the B-Boy.
If the Return of the B-Boy is not, if it's not Packing the Pipe,
it's such an homage record.
Yeah.
They don't reference other heads.
You know.
But you hear it.
You know.
And it sounds like a shitload of records.
With that beat.
I don't even know how to do it. I'm ready to do some fucking flares, spin wheels.
Right.
It's
hip hop.
It is straight up a hip hop record, and I would put that on a hip hop props playlist in the data.
Most definitely.
Even though they don't necessarily directly reference it, it's what they are doing and performing in it that gives it that
and it gives you that feeling.
It's such a vibe.
It gives you that.
You want to roller skate to this?
Yeah, man. You want to get out with your Adidas and your white
got
shirt.
The tracksuit.
No, not just the white shirt with the gang name on it. You know, like
wild style t-shirt.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Man, talking about all the
fishnet hat,
all the clothes we saw over there, man.
At the museum last night.
Oh my god.
We're gonna talk about it on another show.
Oh my god.
Because we will go on and on about it. This is a Pharcyde episode, but we won't get. No, I'm with you. we will do all of that. It's time now for the verses. This is a fan favorite. We love the interaction online. You know, what are your thoughts on this? And we're going to start with the remixes. Now, this had to be a separate thing from my typical verses because they have a fuckload of remixes. And so I'm just going to go right down this list. We're going to kind of go like zippity-doo, right? Zippity-doo. What the fuck? That's going to end up being the thing. Your Mama, Nerve remix. Kind of sounds like the same record to me.
So okay. There's a couple things here that before we even get started on this,
we can't compare this to the original records because it's unfair because we have nostalgic ties.
Right, but even
we're never gonna break out
even
of
to that. There's
these are just these on their own merits.
If you go to Apple Music or Spotify or anything, and you get the Pharcyde album. This album, there's like Passing Me By has a bunch of different remixes, and one sounds exactly the same, but their flow is different. And it's like, to be honest, I'll save you the time here. I don't really dig any of these remixes.
Ooh!
I don't like the singing aspect. I love some of the beats are really tight though. But
yeah, they kind of quite a few of them almost give me that Cypress Hill kind of vibe.
Yeah, but
dubious.
But it's either they sound like, I mean, Fat Lip to me say as much consistent as possible, but like everybody else seems like they were okay. I'm gonna flow for the remix. It's not like you're flowing like for the main verse for the main song, and that's also gonna be included in the remix. Now you're flowing a different way to the remix, and it's like it lost it.
I am on the fence about it because like the thing is that we get records like a great example is Cypress Hill's Boom Biddy Bye Bye, right?
Yeah.
The original is hella dope.
Yeah.
But the remix is completely different.
Right.
Different artist, different beat, different hook. It's a different song altogether. Mm-hmm. And it's amazing. Mm-hmm. It's probably one of the best remixes ever made, in my opinion, in the hip hop world. In my opinion.
You say guns, I say pistola.
If you want beef gun, cállate la boca. Shit is fucking vicious. But what they did here, the J Swift remix of Your Mama, they do this almost like bluesy, like you know what I mean, like Your Mama so fat, like it's just a different record.
It's too much.
I fucked with that. I like that because it was not. It separates it because quite often what happens is these DJs get a hold of these records and they don't do anything to them. Which there is one. I mean, I want to say. The Hot Chip remix on Pass Me By was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's just the original record with a new beat.
Yeah.
And it was a dope beat. So I'm going to give it to the Hot Chip remix for Passing Me By. But it's also just like, when you hear that, you're like, yeah, but I just want to hear the original record.
Yeah.
It makes you want to like turn it off and go play the other record.
And that's the problem with
so when they do shit like this J Swift remix, I'm like, I got a different song here.
Yeah.
It's never as good as the one that you love because we have nostalgic ties to it.
Of course.
But I can appreciate what J Swift did with that remix.
But there are some remixes that like I will like as much as the original song from other artists. But
I think California Love is a good example of that. They did the Dr. Dre one and then the one for the radio. Two very different beats.
Right.
Very different vibes. And both of them are super hot in my opinion.
But I mean, I love Pharcyde. I don't know about these remixes.
The remixes are tough because we are stuck on what they are. So like other Fish, they got the LAJ remix who was mentioned at the beginning of our stats. Look, I mean, that remix wasn't my thing. Much love to LAJ, but J Swift did it better.
Yeah, and then
in my opinion,
it's hard to.
J Swift, I mean, his beat.
I mean, it's that's what I'm saying. It's like I think because these songs are so iconic.
Yeah.
That like you're like nothing comparison is.
Nah.
But if you got like another song that's not as iconic, you hear a remix, and you're like, okay, this one could be, it's comparable or it's better. But with Pharcyde, I feel like you just can't. Passing Me By is like.
Some of the Death Row remixes on their greatest hits were great remixes to the record it was doing, but obviously the original record is what we're into. But I enjoy listening to it. I actually will listen to it.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. But like I said,
are you saying out of everything we've heard on these remixes, you've heard them and you're going back to just the regular? That's where you at.
Yeah.
There's the Dogs Bullocks remix of So Flower. I dug that. I like the way that one came through. I know you and I completely disagreed on that. I love the sound. It's like I said, it's kind of got the Cypress Hilly, funk dubious.
I mean, no, I like I like the beat.
It gives me Muggs vibes.
I like the beat, but just when they start,
they rhyme different on it.
It's too much for me. Like
the Straight Up Faded remix of I'm That Type of like that one, I thought was really nice. I mean, it's kind of more of a straightforward, like clean. It's again, clean. I prefer to listen to the other one, but I liked the beat. I liked this. I liked it.
Right.
It just, I mean, it's rough because, like, you know, these heads like put in this work to make these remixes, and they just kind of get pushed to the side. So we were worried about not having enough, like all this open time, and now it's like we got to press forward.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna give you the next verses. We got Bizarre Ride to the Pharcyde verse Lab Cabin, California.
Ooh, that's a good one.
What's the better album?
Earlier I said those first two albums are amazing.
Those, I mean, for me, that is the Pharcyde.
Yeah.
It's those two albums right there. I like the other stuff, but these two are the ones I'm always going back to.
Shit, man, that's a hard one.
That's super tough because the first one has Passing Me By Another Fish.
Yeah.
Like and those other records that I do really love, but man, it's got Running, it's got Drop. Bro, it's got She Said, like it's got these great records, man. It's much more mature.
I have to go.
And it's Jake Dilla, like.
I have to go. Okay, first album, happy. Second album, not as happy and not serious, but not as happy as the first one. So
I think it was just more consciously mature.
Yeah, it was more mature. So in essence. Even though I do love the first album and I love that it's happy, I'm a dark person by like default.
Yeah.
So I'll go with no. I can't, man. This one's I can't do it.
You have to do it, man. Internet, we're gonna speak on your behalf. I'm gonna tell you right now, man. I think I prefer the record Lab Cabin, California for its records, but as a front to back playthrough, I prefer Bizarre Ride. So I understand your dilemma.
Okay, I guess in you put it like that, that makes perfect sense. I can go with that. I can go with that.
I want to hear it in the comment section. I want to hear what y'all got to say about it because this one right here is tough. Are you team Bizarre Ride to the Pharcyde or Lab Cabin, California? It's hard.
And we didn't really talk much on this, and I know our time is running out, but I just will say that he says that because those are the true, like, in his perspective, Pharcyde albums. He's got a point there because, like,
the other ones are great.
Yeah, but
like, yeah, they split.
They split, and
the sound changes.
And Fat Lip, like, the story with their split, like, was just, it was sad because, like, you know, Fat Lip was such one of my favorite guys on the thing, and I just wish that it never got split and went back to the way it was. But then again, I'm excited to see their solo or their two group project.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes, man.
What about the MCs themselves? Let's rank them. We got Amani, Fat Lip, Slim, Kid Trey.
For me, it's Fat Lip.
You got Fat Lip in the front.
Yeah. And then I would go Booty at the last.
Booty Brown at the bottom?
Yeah, and not because he's bad or anything.
No, all of them are awesome.
Yeah.
I would listen to solo albums of all of them.
Yeah.
But, and I love all of their shit. So this is picking picking the best of the best. Like this isn't I'm sorry, man, you whack.
No.
There isn't one in the group that's like that.
No, not at all.
And as a matter of fact, I find when they're together, it adds that meat to the bone.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
Oh, it complements.
They complement so well. So like you need them all. So there's no disrespect to anybody here. This is just we're asking the question. What's your preference?
And then
you say Fat Lip.
Fat Lip is number one. Booty's like number last, and between I do like Slim Kid's better, like his vocal, his melodic aspect.
I like his melodic stuff.
Yeah, I like it, and so I'll put him in second, and then Imani is third. Even though Imani still got some good stuff. All of them have
so this is the most diverse I think we've had because look, we agreed that Booty Brown on the pop. No, I love you, Booty. Yeah, but he's definitely
he's one of my favorites on Passing Me By.
Oh, I love that verse. That's my favorite verse. One of my favorite verses.
He's not one of my favorites on the rest of the album.
I like Imani over Fat Lip. Imani's got that nasal, and it's like you said earlier. He's just like more playful.
Yeah.
Twimblin'.
Yeah.
Ballistic missiles to take out the enemy.
Yeah.
Or
enemy. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just more like I gotta keep keen and cunning.
Yeah.
Like I just like his style. It's definitely a persona there, but like and that whole nasal thing, and it's more lighthearted. A lot of my favorite artists is that.
Yeah.
Nasal, lighthearted. You know, I love all that hard shit. I love all that grimy shit. It takes you somewhere. It teaches you a thing or two. It puts you in a mood and a vibe, and it opens you. It makes you think. But like, there's something about that playfulness where you just, it's
needed.
It's good for you.
It's needed.
And you need the balance.
It's needed. And
so
that's
I'm putting Money up, but I'll put Fat Lip right behind him.
Yeah. See, I like
Slim Kid Trey too. He's like in the middle. He's like,
I like Fat Lip just because to me he's a great MC.
Yeah.
Like
as an individual,
and
great
again,
interviews by him.
And again, it's like the
crazy stories.
The main like track I remember, verse I remember is. Now there she goes again, and the
my dear, you do not know. It came out of nowhere.
It's to me the best verse.
Shout out to Fat Lip. Yeah. Shout out to Fat Lip. That's fair. How about this then? Let's take Fat Lip because I knew that was going to be your answer. Let's take Fat Lip and let's piece him up against other in the vibe artists from that area and era. We got Fat Lip from the Pharcyde, Del the Funky Homo Sapien from Hieroglyphics, ACL Alone from Freestyle Fellowship, Merce from Living Legends. What we got?
I go Fat Lip still.
You're staying with Fat Lip, bro?
I do like Merce a lot.
I love Merce too, man.
I go with Fat Lip.
I really feel bad for ACL Alone because he's one of the nastiest in this collective, but he's also like one that I didn't study the hardest. I love Freestyle Fellowship, and I do love a lot of his side projects, but he's at the bottom for me on this list.
And Del's at
the top for me, dog.
And Del
take all of that.
He fucks with that kind of like
that whole like multi-syllabic. Yeah, and I like the more artsy shit.
Yeah, like
I'm with you. So you get it.
Yeah.
Del is also a lighthearted,
right? But my favorite is Deltron 30.
I mean, of his work. And he did the shit with the Gorillas and Deltron. The whole thing is different. So like that earlier stuff, even I missed the Bob Davalino.
Yeah. Bob Davalino. Mr. Bob Davalino was good.
I love all those records, man.
That brings me back to like that whole Cypress era. Like that.
Just.
I know. You know what I'm talking about. House of Pain.
Yeah. It was fun, but it had this edge to it, and it was just, and it was also different than everything going out there.
And the sample was tight.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I love that sample.
It's like a mixture between like Cypress and Tribe.
Like
that's how I see
with this, like I said, that light artist, you got Pharcyde, De La, so you have that playfulness there. I don't know, man. Del for me on that one, so I put Del at top. Ooh. I might go Merce then Fat Lip because Merce is. I'm a Merce.
I fuck with Merce.
One I got to meet Merce, and I fuck with him. He does a great video about a particular person that we're going to talk about soon. And I don't know. I just really fuck with Merce, man.
Bob Davalino.
Yo, I know Del's the record, man. I mean, so I'm going Del, Merce, Fat Lip, ACL.
I forgot about this Bob Davalino.
I love that record.
I gotta get that in my phone, man.
Wish my brother George was here. He did that whole joint about fucking video games, the proto culture.
This is
Yeah, I'm a fucking nerd, man. So comic books and fucking cartoons and shit. Like, Del raps about that shit.
Yeah, see, my forte is like Killer Army.
Whatever. I fuck with all that shit too. I fuck with all that shit too, man. Don't get it fucking twisted, man. I put Killer Army over Del. I'm sorry, Del. I love Killer Army. How about now Pharcyde versus De La Soul?
Ooh.
That's tough.
And that De La Soul is one of my favorites. Ooh, 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 with the Redman song.
Oh man, that shit is great. A great one. That is a great record.
Okay, but see, this is the thing. Okay, De La Soul to me is great, but I gotta say that there's more songs by the Pharcyde
that you like
that's stuck in my heart, in my head.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, like, you know, so there's a couple songs by, I mean, there's a good number of songs, but the number like of songs that are my favorite from De La Soul is like 2 or 3. Favorite from Pharcyde is like 5 or 6.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm with you, man. The records I love by De La Soul are fucking great.
Yeah. They're like epic. They're like amazing.
Big records, right. Classic records, dope ass records. I mean, we can get into that on another episode. I know we have access to them. We're gonna be able to listen to that. Yeah. We'll be able to talk about it. Let's talk about it. But let's do one last verses. This one I think is the one that kind of hurt a little bit. So you got to pick between on a production level.
Okay.
J Swift versus J Dilla, only on the merits of Passing Me By versus Running.
J Swift.
Without a doubt. Like, you didn't even think twice. You ready for that.
Yeah. Right.
A lot of people give credit to J Dilla for that record.
Passing Me By is
That's J Swift, homie.
It's an amazing beat.
Just last night we were at the spot. Somebody said that. They were like, Joe, that was my first introduction to J Dilla. I was like,
and see, we corrected him. That's what I'm saying. Like that's the thing. Of
course we corrected him. We snobs.
Yeah, no, because we're some hip hop heads. We're like, nah, correction like that.
That's J Swift, man. It wasn't until Lab.
Yeah, no, and again, I can't wait to talk about what our show was, that experience we went to yesterday.
We're gonna have a good time.
Fucking amazing, man. I like if you guys have any like offsets off of the Bronx Museum in your states, check it out. If not, go to the fucking Bronx. That's our pilgrimage, but at least we got one here in DC. A little tiny bit of that.
Trust me, we'll do a podcast about that too.
Yeah, man.
But we're gonna definitely go. We gotta hit it. We gotta hit it. We gotta go. But this is really nice because it's right down from where we at, and we're able to go and see it, and we're able to experience these cool shows.
Again, we're just letting everybody know where we live. It's cool.
Yeah, whatever.
It's cool. Like,
look. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. And we'll edit all the the places and stuff, like the street names.
People are gonna start putting it together. I know exactly what the motherfucker lives. So, catch me. First off, man, if you like the show, you want to hear more content, please like and subscribe. Please like and subscribe to our show, and be sure to share with others. You have any questions? You got comments about our verses? Which one do you like better? You like Passing Me By over Running, Pharcyde, De La Soul? I want to hear it in the comment section. Is there an artist that we have not done yet you want to hear? Put it in the comment section. Mm-hmm. Is there you want to hear and do deeper dives? My name is Johnny Warbucks, and you can find me on Spotify with our playlist. I got the playlist live right now for you, where you can experience this entire program and decide for yourself. You know what I mean? Definitely check out Bandcamp, Johnny Warbucks. It's a party over here. Small little project. You can donate some money if you want to. Otherwise, I'd rather just listen to it, enjoy it. But peep it out. Johnny Warbucks on all the social media as well.
Yeah, and stay tuned too, because we're working on a song together. Mm-hmm. So we
got a couple of things, man.
Yeah.
Talking with Shapuff a lot, Rappers Corner.
Yeah.
Yo, shout out to Shapuff.
Yeah, and Rappers Corner is also going to change a little bit. We're going to include our boy here as a co-host. So it's going to be fucking tight. So
if I picked up the reins on it, we're going to join.
Rappers Corner, Remember the Record, Johnny Warbucks, Kalashnikov Red, streaming sites all over YouTube or whatever you find at Spotify, all the shit that you use platforms. Like and subscribe for reals and share this motherfucker, man. Listen, one thing that I'm going to say this before we end up leaving for today, and this has bothered me within the hip-hop community, I feel like it has to be addressed, because what we saw yesterday completely vindicated what we believe. That there is no gatekeepers in hip-hop, okay? You can be wherever, from whenever, or wherever. You can be whoever. As long as you respect the culture, as long as you feed the culture, as long as you keep the culture in high regards, you're part of the culture.
You are a part of the culture.
And you can't, it doesn't have to be a certain race. It doesn't have to be a certain age. It doesn't have to be a certain nothing. What we saw yesterday, we saw everybody getting down, everybody from all over, man.
I mean, had you, when you look at them on the street, you wouldn't know that they were like about a 9 Chino XL.
Right, wouldn't even think, and that's the beauty of it. And there was no beef, there was no, oh, you can't be here.
Yeah.
You know, fucking no
nobody trying to fucking fight nobody.
And there was no opinions either. This, what we did, what we saw was community hip hop. It was hip hop at its heart. At its heart.
Big fucking heart.
Yeah. It's
lots of love.
It's 50 years old. We gotta mature, motherfuckers.
Grow the fuck up.
Yeah. No more of this gatekeeping shit. No matter who you are. Just as long. Keep all those motherfuckers out that are fucking destroying our culture. But anybody that wants to put that in with like how we're doing it, yeah.
Not a fan of separatists, man.
Nah, man.
It's not my thing.
No elitism in hip hop either, man.
No.
You know, hip hop started in the streets.
Respect my hip hop royalty. Respect my elders. Respect where it came from.
Yeah, man.
100%.
So they're just mad love to everybody that practices this hip hop ideology, and the gatekeepers keep working. But man,
no one's gonna. You're gonna be screaming into a void here.
No, keep working, but just gatekeep the people that really are there to harm hip hop.
We don't need them.
Yeah,
we don't need them. Then go fuck themselves.
We don't want them. Right.
Real talk.
Yeah, man. Check us out for reals. And we do this for you guys. We do this for hip hop community. We do this for the culture. We're trying to keep it alive. 50 years, just make it or break it. We got
a lot more records to talk about, man.
Keep it alive, guys.
What are we talking about next month? What is next month? Is it August?
Man, I'm so lost right now.
I know we got to catch up. We got one more episode that we got to put out for August. I mean, that's by then we're knee deep in the summer.
Yeah, so we're knee deep in the summer.
Yeah. So it's time for something, something that gives us that kind of vibe. We'll see.
All right,
we'll
guys.
figure it out.
For real.